Hey friends, this is Mycaleum,
This is Smokescreens.
and we are the Gotchi Brothers, the deepest divers in the Avagachi ecosystem.
We want to say thanks for your continued support of the Gotchi Brothers as we kick off our 2024 season.
We know that time is glitter, and we appreciate you spending yours with us. With friends like you, we are definitely GMI. So without further ado, please enjoy the show.
Enjoy.
So, guys, this is Mycaleum here. I'm co-hosting today with Smokescreens. We are pleased and privileged to introduce our first Gotchi Brothers episode of 2024. So, without further ado, because we have tons of information to try to grab in this hour line, so go ahead, special guest of the day. Would you please introduce yourself and just tell us about any projects that you're currently officially working with?
Sure. I'm Aztec. I've been a Polygon fan since the beginning, and I'm the CSO at Lunar Digital Assets and kind of like an advisor and oversee a bunch of marketing teams. And I guess some of the teams I work with that you would know is Polygon, um, Dogechain, QuickSwap, just to name a couple there.
That's fantastic, fantastic. This is for Smokescreens and I were just talking about this, and for us, you're like an upperclassman. You have a legacy and a tenure in this space that we just haven't achieved yet and can't surpass. And so it's really fun to sit down and talk with someone who's seen so much development happening and can give us some real perspective and some real historical reference. So thanks again for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So
Good to chop it up with you guys.
absolutely. Well, I'm hoping that we'll do this again more in the future. We're waking up our 2024 season. So let's get like pre-electronic because we like to try to make sure that we spend a little time really getting to know our friends here and not so much just doing the crypto talk, which is so easy to get stuck in. When did you fall in love with electronics? Do you have a memory that's really early in your history where you were like, oh, that even today you can recount it and that was a lasting electronic impression for you and kind of set the tone on a potential love affair with technology that's still occurring today?
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess I've had electronics my whole life. Um, I didn't have all the gaming systems because we weren't that wealthy, but somehow we got a an old Apple. Excuse me. We got an old Apple uh, computer way back in the day. You know, one of those ones with like the floppy disk. Um, and I think that was one of my first ones. Actually, it wasn't an Apple because I don't think it was. Had DOS, you know, where you had to like type in the commands just to get the floppy disk to work. Um, and then I think the one that really hit home for me was the Game Boy. So
Mm.
I think I had like
Nice.
Zelda
Nice.
as my first game. Uh, I can't even remember the exact name of it, but it's like it has a gold face and the Zelda name there.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. And for those friends, we have the pleasure right now of seeing you on camera, and you're sporting a fantastic, beautiful Avagachi sweater right now. And so apparently, pixel art runs deep and long because
Represent, baby.
pixel art tends to pull the heartstrings on a lot of nostalgia for a lot of us. That Game Boy, I'm sure, is common through lots of friends there. So from Game Boy to Web3, you know, you're one of the like just key opinions that we follow inside this area and someone that we can watch for information that's coming right from the trenches of the front lines. How did you get to that? What happened to you that made you fall in love with Web3? And you've been here for a while, so how have you endured the winters and the cycles? And why are you still here?
Sure, I always say that I kind of got my Web3 uh, university college experience in RuneScape. I don't know if you guys or anyone knows what that is, but
Definitely.
essentially, yeah, it's just an MMORPG. So I learned, you know, trading and messed around on the Grand Exchange and slaying monsters and to kind of learn about the digital world through RuneScape. But I guess somehow through my like studies and late night, Reddit tumbles and all that, I would at one point was just kind of looking at gold and silver because I knew there was like different things going on in the world. So I wanted to stack some gold and silver, and I stumbled across Bitcoin, and that's kind of how I got into blockchain. Just being interested in kind of like looking for something to hedge against the dollar, and so I stumbled across Bitcoin, and then the first thing I bought was Bitcoin. Then it was Litecoin, because of the denomination. And from there, I got into like privacy coins, like John McAfee was talking about. It was like Dogecoin Dark back in the day, but it was Verge and just so on and so on. All the coins and stuff. So that's really how it started.
Hmm. When,
Interesting.
yeah, Smokescreens and I spent a lot of time in Polygon. We got started on Polygon as like right when the rebrand occurred in February of 2021. We hopped on that main net and we're blessed to farm QuickSwap very early in those February days of 21. It was just a wild time. And so I'm wondering because you're bleeding purple everywhere we look. And so when did that conversion fully occur? How did you discover Polygon and what are you still seeing that is keeping you interested?
Sure. So with Polygon, like I was saying early on, first thing I saw was Bitcoin. That was back in 2016. I mean, Bitcoin was under $1,000. Um, and kind of after the privacy stuff with Verge and John McAfee, I stumbled across Cardano, and I was a huge Cardano kind of maxi at one point. This is before Polygon, and uh, when I first found out about Polygon, it was through a KuCoin IDO. And
KuCoin.
yeah, the Polymatic network was going to actually IDO on KuCoin at first. And then something happened to where they then IDO'd on Binance. But I saw like the little IDO page and it was talking about the Matic network, how it was going to scale Ethereum. And I remember even bringing it up with Charles Hoskinson in the main Cardano chat, and he got mad at me. Uh, so, because I was at that time even making like Cardano videos, but that's how I found Matic Network. It was like before the white paper, really. Probably, I think it was even before their light paper, and I just fell in love with the idea of scaling Ethereum. Taking that existing success that was there, scaling it, and providing like this layer two. Because back then, people were thinking of Matic Network as an actual layer two, not a sidechain. It's kind of like it came out later that it was technically the proof Matic Network proof of stake chain was a sidechain. And then I guess what really keeps me here today is that it's the same awesome team that I met early on. I joined different like Telegram chats, and Sandeep was in there, and I just thought it was so awesome that because I was like, man, I'm a nobody in this space, and like these team members are just chatting with me and hanging out, giving me alpha, and I thought that was like really awesome to see that they were so humble. They weren't cocky like other ecosystems were, and they had a really good product market fit, something that made sense. So that's what really kind of like made me interested in the technology and the team, and kind of started learning more about the team and their past successes. Like Matic Network had success before Matic Network, before they started even doing like the plasma stuff with Matic Network. So yeah, what keeps me there today again is just it's the same team, except they've just scaled up. They've brought on more people. They spent a ton of money acquiring some of the most brilliant minds in the space to build out this whole Polygon 2.0 and ZK technology, and now CDK, and so it's just never-ending awesomeness. So that's why I stayed here.
Yeah, go ahead, Smokescreens.
Yeah, Aztec. It's Smokescreens over here. I gotta say everything. There's so much evidence, proof on what you're saying. You go on your YouTube channel, you go back 5 years, you can see some of those Cardano videos early on, and it's so I enjoy your videos quite a bit. You bring out the core, the essence of a project, and it's easy to understand it. So please, keep that on. Seeing that you got into Matic around 2 to 4 cents is mind blowing, man. That's when we got in, it was around, I think, 15 cents, and we thought we were early. But talk about enduring the test of time, that's you, man, and it's very encouraging, to see how bullish you were back then and how bullish you still are, and even more so, nowadays. And yeah, man, that's what I've seen so far. Big fan of you, and yeah, keep bringing out that alpha, man. We're bullish on quick swap now. We got in early on quick swap as well, and we're still there, and we're following what the legends like yourself.
And that's a good segue there for us too. So you can kind of give us a 2-for-1 here, because you obviously were in the Bitcoin, then you saw something at Ethereum, probably saw the magic of smart contracts, the interaction opportunities that probably led to DeFi exposure, and then QuickSwap is obviously one of your champion causes here. What is it that necessarily about QuickSwap specifically that you're bullish on, and about the DeFi scene at large that has you excited?
That's a good question. Yeah. And thank you for, the high praise there and everything. I've always just wanted to share, good times, man. I always just wanted to share the knowledge that I've acquired, and it's not fun to go down this journey by yourself, especially when most of my IRL friends, honestly, even to this day, even with all of my success, haven't even invested in blockchain. They just don't care, or they don't get it, for the most part. I got some friends that have dove in. So it's nice to be a part of the community and like build content and talk with people like you guys that really get it, that the future of everything is going to really be paired with blockchain, or it's collapsing into blockchain. But with QuickSwap, I'm really bullish on QuickSwap because it's a project that I was there from the beginning as well, and they've really come a long way. Apologize, kind of cleared my throat. They've really come a long way. They were the founding team to really kick off that DeFi summer on Polygon. I remember the QuickSwap Beauty team bringing in, teams from Finance Chain and, all kinds of other like EVMs, and bringing them to Polygon. And I think, with what they started, it really just helped power the ecosystem for Polygon. And so I have a special place in my heart for the QuickSwap team. But beyond that, they have really continued to build. They're not just like just a standard DEX that never really added on. So this entire bear market recently, they added all kinds of new integrations, solutions. They have like a liquidity hub. They have the solvers, and they have like a V2, a V3, and they're building so many other different things. The Dragonfly ecosystem, or Dragonfly 2.0, is pretty massive as well, just because they intend to kind of like launch on all the new Polygon CDK chains, and essentially, as they call them citadels, but essentially as they grow, there's going to be more revenue. So it just feeds back to the sustainability of QuickSwap, and them further building. And there's a lot more coming as well. They have some pretty innovative things like a Club Dex coming, and some other things that I can't even talk about yet. But they just keep building. I think that's why I'm so bullish. Being early, like you're saying, is a big deal to kind of see like how far they've come and see that they've stood the test of time. I mean, it takes a lot to for a project. You know, you look at Aavegotchi, you look at QuickSwap, Polygon. I mean, to go through the bear market that we just recently went through and not be, you know, collateral damage and fit well, you know, totally collapse was a big deal as well. And to continue building through all of that, it really just shows the fortitude of all of these projects. So that's why I'm bullish on
Yeah, for a
Polygon.
while there, we were comparing the Ghost token to close to a stable token there for a while before, you know, before the curve came out. But yeah, those were
Right.
safe investments.
Yeah,
Well,
Aavegotchi's big deal.
well, and that leads right in the next topic here. One of the developments we've watched happen on QuickSwap that I was pleased to see was the inclusion of what they call the gaming hub, the gaming center, and
Mhm.
and just taking a spotlight view on the development of the Web3 GameFi scene, which we're also heavily focused on and personally interested in, and just all wrapped up in. And so again, back to the sweater there, you've been a big fan of Avagacci for a long time as well. There's lots of NFT projects out there, and they're not all the same. Why Avagacci? What is interesting about that project to you?
Um, I Pixel art, I guess, is probably what first got me interested. I don't even remember exactly how I stumbled across it. I think it was Nick Mudge. He's a developer, and he was helping with the QuickSwap deployments right off the gate from the very beginning. And I noticed that he was big on Aavegotchi. Also, I remember, you know, from the beginning that it had kind of like that ties to Aave, and I heard that there was some developers from Aave, so I think that's what piqued my interest from the beginning. And I remember finding, and it's in one of my videos, but I found Aavegotchi when uh, the Twitter handle only had like 1,000 followers,
Hmm.
and you know, it looked cool. It was just early on. This is like when the metaverse was barely kicking off, and this was Web3, like gaming was just so new. And I guess just seeing them develop and start building the gear and all that it was just an exciting time. You know, it's something new. So that's really what kind of like got me interested in and where I started with Aavegotchi. But you know, now Aavegotchi is just shipping nonstop. You know, they have all these new games coming out, and they built the Forge. I think that was like last year,
Mm-hmm.
and there's just so much more that you can do uh, in the Aavegotchi ecosystem that just makes me excited about it and continue to be involved. Also, you know, they're OGs of Polygon, so I have a lot of respect for them, and that's why I actually support them. Aavegotchi's never paid me anything to make all the content and all that. I mean, I bought this as well. You know, I'm just a fan because you know, they're doing real work and they're building a really fun ecosystem that I think will bring in a lot of adoption.
That's
projects
awesome. That's pretty
projects that
cool.
tend to just require inputs of financial assets. I'm in that same boat. I've got quite a armory of swag over here, but it's because, like you say, they're doing things differently, right? Nick Mudgeon is one of the original summoners and the purveyor of the Ethereum Diamond Contract Standard, EIP something 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 something. And so some of the smartest people in the space have been involved with Aavegotchi. That's what we fell in love with. And then that community aspect steps in behind it. You meet great friends like you that seem interested in it as well. And you realize that all these smart people are supporting this project. That's a very exciting circumstance to occur.
Absolutely. Don't forget we got that nifty island event today
Oh yeah,
with Aavegotchi. Yeah. So
is that today?
That
yeah,
launched
there's
today, as a matter of fact. We gotta figure out what's going on over there right
Yeah,
after this call, so we can go jump in and start doing our representation for the Gotcha
yeah,
gang.
for
absolutely,
sure.
absolutely. Yeah. Also wanted to touch bases on of course CK EVM. You know, we are
Another shout out to QuickSwap.
big.
QuickSwap leading the way
Yeah.
for us to discover
Yeah.
AVM and begin that frontier.
Yeah. A quick question for you, Aztec. How did you deal with the anxiety and the stress of crossing over from layer one to layer two back in those days when it used to take about, 72 hours sometimes to get your liquidity across?
I'm just a DJ, man. You know, I I think it's safe to say when you're trialing something new, just take a small bit of money and,
Sure.
jump in. I think that's how I did it. I'm just a crazy degen, and I saw the opportunity and wanted to be a part of the revolution or whatever. And so, yeah, just it is scary. I guess like looking back at it, you're taking, a ton of money and you're just passing it through a bridge and you're like, I hope it gets to the other side and I hope we never get hacked. Uh, but yeah, I'm just a DJ, man.
But I guess this is a
It's a
good,
simple answer, I guess.
and
Say,
go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, safe practices is where it's at. Sending in a small quantity first, and yeah. That takes me back, man. It takes me back. Just sending those $10 across, and see if it'll make it through. And all right, you made it. Yeah. That's where it's at. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and that
Sure.
that leads right into the next segment there too, right? Is yeah, that degen attitude is very important because otherwise we won't get out here and check out these frontiers, right? It takes a pioneer's attitude to have that risk appetite, but lots of pioneers die. And so, like, what are your methods and practices? Maybe like in the early days that you remember maybe were bad practices that you've now replaced, or things you did early that you still do today. Do you have anything that you actually do that you think maybe most other users aren't using or they don't know about, or just good practices that you try to always advocate for?
Sure. Um, Diversification, I guess, is a good practice. Um, I actually survived the Terra collapse. I had a bunch of UST, and I'm very lucky that I also diversified. I had some USDC, I had some Tether, and because when that UST crash happened, I lost a lot of money. But if I would have had everything in UST, I would have lost everything. Um, so diversification, I guess, like when you're testing things out, I definitely like to, you know, like we were just saying, try just a little, test transaction. I mean, even with new wallets, sometimes I will uh, test sending, just $5 over, $10 if it's a centralized exchange, if it's a new platform, or it's a DEX, that there's some of these like opportunities where you want to go farm somewhere. I'll just send a very small portion of my portfolio over to kind of farm. And also, I think on your computer, it's good to run some security, um, and then in general, maybe have a ledger or a Trezor. Which, to be honest, I'm not. So I still use a ledger, but I'm thinking about switching. That's something I still have to really look into, but not to get like too boring or anything. But with all the recent ledger stuff, a little bit sketched out. So I think it's always good to stay like. I'll just finish by saying this. I think it's good to, because the space just changes so quickly. There's always this new information, or new regulation here, or whatever, new technology. This is better. This is worse now. It's good to be ready to change and be able to adapt.
Yeah, I think that's really well
Agreed.
said. Well, and that's a really key point, because the diversification is a common topic that's something that lots of people mention, but it's a strong reminder here that even diversification of your stables can be critical. That's not something that necessarily people think about. It's typically the stables versus the non-stables, but even within the stables, that dividing of that asset class can be a big deal, maybe in certain circumstances, things you wouldn't think about. And like you mentioned, don't call it boring, right? The boring stuff is probably the most important stuff in the space.
Mm. True.
Okay, let's do like a chain sampler here. I don't want you to think too much about it. I think you saw it a little earlier. You've seen it maybe circulated around a little bit on Twitter, but just kind of without thinking too much, what's a chain that you are willing to say that you dislike?
Solana.
a chain that
All right.
a chain that you think is underrated.
uh, Polygon.
A chain in general that you like.
um, I guess immutable ZKVM, but it's in testnet.
That you just gave teasers there. I'm happy to hear that. A chain that you
Hmm.
love, non-contested, always will be with them.
IMX.
Yeah, IMAX. I also love Polygon. It's underrated. I also
That
love it.
okay. They're
I feel like I'm gonna
yeah. You can withdraw answers, and there can totally be duplicates.
awesome. I also think I'm gonna love Gotchi Chain just because of but I know it's still coming. So
You're gonna have to send him another sweater. Yeah.
What is the chain that you most feel yourself in?
Polygon,
Nice, man. This is why I like you so much. What is a chain that you dream of building on?
Polygon as well.
Okay, well, this one should be a different answer here. What is a chain that you still need to try?
Maybe some Cosmos chain. I've tried pretty much everything I want to try. I don't know. Celestia is I haven't dove too far into utilizing their chain. I don't even know what you really can do there, but
That's a fair point too, though, because I'm watching it happen. This is like what I'll consider my second proper season of the rapid deployment era. And so there's lots of flags going up, lots of attention, lots of banners. Hey, come check this out, come check that out. But I am looking
yeah,
for action. I'm looking for things to do. So I'm looking for useful
yeah.
dApps, deep liquidity, functionality. And we're not seeing a lot of that yet. We're seeing a lot of top surface skimming type stuff. It's interesting for me to hear you say that you've kind of tried most places that you are wanting to go. How are you either A, like resisting temptation of all the chatter that's starting, or B, have you just grown to a level of like stoicism and apathy that requires great energy to invoke?
Sure. I mean, I noticed that I guess over the I don't know how long it's even been, since 2016. So what is that, like 8 years almost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's flown by.
Time flies.
I I I just know what I like, and I know where I feel safe. So I feel most safe on Ethereum and Polygon. And I've tried a lot of different things. I've got wrecked in some of my experiments going around and farming. And so what I realized is that it's sometimes not worth it to be so degen, especially in a meaningful way where you could actually make some money. Because if you if you bridge across, it might cost a couple $100 and go through some kind of cross-chain bridges and all this stuff. By the time you get somewhere and all the transactions, if you're only using a little bit of money, you might not even make the money that back. And it depends. It totally depends. But you can also get wrecked in those things. So I guess now I'm kind of like at this point of my journey where I'm just comfortable and I see there's a ton of different opportunities spinning up throughout the whole Polygon ecosystem. And I'm really looking forward to that uh, unified liquidity with the LXY bridge that's coming, the atomic swaps between Ethereum and the Polygon CDK chains. And I think what that's going to do is just open up a ton of liquidity from Ethereum. I think there's going to be a bunch of Ethereum wells that feel a lot more secure with that type of technology to bring that money across to all the Polygon CDK chains. So at this point, I'm mainly just staking, and I'm happy. I don't I'm not really tempted by some of the other like crazy things that are on other chains because I've kind of done my hardcore degen stuff and I realize,
You got
I
your
like
cards
what I'm,
ready, right?
yeah, I've been wrecked here. I've been, there's sometimes you get stuck on bridges for days and you go through the scare of like, oh, am I going to lose all this money and all the different things. So I'm happy where I'm at. I'm just staking for the most part and waiting for some of the big opportunities that are coming for Polygon and Ethereum. And I'm not really worried about the other things because I've already kind of trialed it. I think the only thing that would get me to try a new technology is if I thought the technology was just so groundbreaking or it sounded amazing. I think also some of the privacy type solutions. I love dabbling in privacy solutions. But other than that, I'm happy where I'm at.
That's a level that one has to grow into. We remember what it was like running around and touching every contract that deployed,
Yeah.
literally everything. And every day you check the list and see, oh, there's 2 new farms, let's go. And
Yeah.
everything was on the table. And we have ourselves also grown into a point where a lot of it's just like mental bandwidth. It's exhausting to live like that. And so
Yeah.
we have picked our beds and we're gonna lie on them.
Exactly.
Aztec, who's your NFT platform choice of use at this point, at this moment, and where do you see OpenSea for the time being?
That's a good one. It's a cross between a couple different platforms, to be honest. I really like the Magic Eden team, uh, and I know the guys there, and they have one of the best launch pads that I know of. And I really like the Do team. I think they're really innovative. I love the way that you can really access liquidity for um, NFTs across all the different NFT platforms. So I love that idea. And then obviously um, the Gotchi Bazaar is uh, is, is
Oh
great.
yeah.
OpenSea, I like it just for certain aspects. I like viewing my portfolio in OpenSea. I don't know if it's just the nostalgia or what it is,
Sure.
but sometimes I go there to look at different wallets and portfolios. But it's kind of a cross of the different platforms and just what I'm doing. If I'm hunting, I like the aggregator. I like Do if it's because they're going to find the liquidity on all the different Polygon uh,
Yeah.
platforms. And OpenSea, I don't know. Like I've heard a lot of things over this last year, them dropping certain like their devs and some drama and stuff, but I think they're going to still survive. They're a household name, and everyone knows OpenSea. They're going to continue using them. But I honestly, personally, don't use OpenSea as much anymore. It's probably a cross between Magic Eden and Do.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
It
Made a
was
big.
easier when you were the only game in town, OpenSea.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's lead right into community engagement here because you're again a leader in the space there. We are seeing you firing up new content on almost a daily basis. How do you balance between like your digital efforts and specifically want to focus on in real life involvement because it's underrepresented in the space. Eat Denver's around the corner. I'm hoping you're going to make the trek. And so just what are your take on those two sides of how to keep the army marching?
Sure. I just don't have a life, man. Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and tell you I'm some kind of like super healthy guy. I used to be super healthy, running every day, working out. I was super yoked. Then I got into Web3
Oh
and,
no.
and now I just try to eat healthy
Sure.
because I don't even get outside and touch grass as much anymore.
Man, all
Um,
gave some, but some give all. We appreciate your sacrifice.
yeah, man. I think in 2024, I've really tried to reclaim my health and trying to sleep more and eat healthy and learn about foods more and how they can heal your body and you know keep keep you in health. And like I'm reading a lot more, to keep my brain active, like just like books and I'm reading some like really crazy stuff nowadays. My manga, but also like just old texts. Like I'm interested in like reading like really old books and stuff. Uh, so yeah, but in regards to like touching grass and everything, man, I don't have a life, man. Every once in a while I get out and see my RL friends, and most of the time I'm just on the internet, working and hanging out with my Web3 crew.
It's a double-edged sword, right? We live in a 24/7 space, and it's a beautiful thing because anytime you get the urge, there's someone there on the other side that you can interact with, and that's a gift and a curse. I myself have had to wrestle with this demon of balance, and it's nice to hear that you're putting a focus on the self first. You've put a lot of time in the space, and that thing can't be sustainable long term like that. You gotta have some perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know I need to work
Thank
on
you. Thank you for your sacrifice.
it.
Have you been to Eat Denver prior? Do you make an effort for in real life events? Is it something you've experienced before?
Um, I'll just be honest with you guys. I haven't really told many people this, but I mean, I guess this it's a good place to kind of release this, but I'm actually afraid of flying.
Ah,
I
okay.
I was in the medical field before I went full time Web3, and actually on the front lines of COVID and all that, and I saw a lot of stuff. It really messed my brain up. I had like PTSD from it, and uh, for some reason after that point, I get like claustrophobic in planes. But I have been trying to fly and beat the fear, and I've been to a couple events. It does take a lot out of me, like mentally, and I plan on trying to go to a lot more events, especially this year. Everything's heating up, and getting out and doing it. But it's really hard for me to do it. I think a couple of the recent events that I've been to, I actually drove because I'm in Arizona. So whenever there's like a state close by that's doing something big, like Texas is where I've driven a couple times to for Consensus and Decentral. But I've taken a couple flights as well. So yeah, plan on doing more of it. But it's pretty challenging for it's been years, but I'm still trying to get over the plane thing.
Man,
We're
that's
rooting for you, man.
yeah, and that's no joke
Thank
either.
you.
I flew earlier this last year, in early 2023, and I remember there's a moment where I looked around and I was like, I can't believe that everyone's not sick after this experience because this is just a germ pool. The whole process is just a germ conveyor. So I can understand real feelings, especially if you know the risks. I will say that we've talked about this a little bit. As you mentioned, you're in Arizona. We're up north in Utah here, and Vegas is close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we drive to Denver. This will be our second year going to eat Denver, and we drive. It's a 10-hour trek for us, but it's an enjoyable journey. It's part of the experience,
Yeah.
and we will continue to drive that direction. But let's make sure we wake up this Southwest U.S. in real life event presence, and like if we can court these events to start hosting down here, then you and I can just drive to all these things, and we don't have to fly at all. That's the solution here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That sounds exciting. I need to I need to map it out, see how far of a drive that would be. It's probably pretty similar to Texas. I think Texas was 24 hours. I'm guessing it's probably about that for me from Arizona to
It
Denver.
definitely is no longer than that. So yeah, just check it out because I love the space and I've met some wonderful people here. But going to eat Denver last year, that was just something else. It was just created a tangible connection to something that I believe in so strongly that I can't help but go back again.
Well, we had a friend that drove from Canada, right, to
Yeah,
to eat
Oh
Denver.
wow.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and so it brings
Oh,
well,
that's
and
crazy.
that's a short trip. There's people from across the bodies of water, long trippers, and so
True.
it's really neat to get there and see people that have given much more to be there than me. And the question is the why, right? That's just you see bullish commitment and intention in action, and that's the energy I get from Eat Denver.
Yeah, I saw the pictures in the post from Denver last year, especially the Gotchi crew. I believe, if I remember right, went really big there, and I remember seeing everyone in the Gotchi sweaters. Was that it?
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
that you?
Oh yeah,
That that
absolutely.
you,
Yeah, gotcha,
honestly,
gotcha, baby.
like truth be told, that was us. It was us. Like we wanted to go to eat Denver.
Uh,
We wanted to go to eat Denver on our own. We finally decided, you know what, we care enough. Let's make it happen. So we got a place and mentioned it to a couple of Gotcha gang, and then it just grew from there. And we got to a point where we went in front of the DAO and put a proposal and got funding, and it became a substantial effort to the point
It
that
was the
we're
birth of
doing
the
it.
Gotchi Lodge.
Yeah, the birth of the Gotchi Lodge, and so we're doing it again this year, and hopefully we'll be making a better impression and reminding more people that these in real life events do have something to offer.
sounds fun.
Yeah,
I if I'm not too busy, that sounds like something I'd love to
the Gotchi Lodge would happily host you,
live
man.
out to.
There'd be a good time
That'd
for
be
you
cool.
there. Gotchi Gang
Yeah,
does it really well, and I think it's a good onboarding community into ETH Denver for curious in real life
It's fun. A
events.
lot of fun.
yeah. Were you guys there in Florida?
No, Florida's a little too far for us, and it's just the other side of the planet. But the Gotcha Gang is all over, and so we did have a
Yeah,
delegation out there, and then there was some
Oh
good
yeah.
artists and community reps out there, but just not
I
enough
look
that time.
forward to it.
Oh, we're gonna try to crush every in real life event. We have created an in real life task force that the DAO
Wow.
funds explicitly to try to make sure that we correctly represent ourselves at these in real life opportunities.
Well, we were also part of the Polygon guilds, and we're also in contact with
Sure.
the Polygon
Oh,
guilds also to try to
I
you
was
know, so they try.
bringing up good stories. I got lucky on this one, Aztec. I was able to secure the very first ever North American Polygon Guild, and that's founded here in
Oh,
St.
wow.
George. And so we've now grown. There's many chapters across North America continent,
Right.
but still just not enough action on that front. So hoping to see a lot more growth on the Polygon guilds. You even mentioned the concept of creating like an in real life version, maybe of the All Roads Lead to Polygon. And so
Yeah,
there's a hotbed here in the Southwest, and we're ready to support you once we're ready to uncork that enthusiasm.
that would be awesome. Yeah, I am looking at how to figure it out. I actually need to go and read through the documentation for how to start it up, but I know it exists, the Polygon Guilds, and I'd love to kick it off, get some merch, and just get out in the open. And
Yes.
I think even Mark Byron,
Hmm.
Polygon CEO, is in Arizona somewhere. So um,
Well, it turns out this is headquarters apparently, so let's do this.
right, yeah, let's
I,
do
I
it.
I
And
think our market is prime. Our market is prime to start bringing awareness and onboarding. You know.
true, true, for sure. Yeah.
I want to get your opinion on something that I watch you do pretty regularly that I'm really, I guess proud is the right word. I respect you for this. So this is like a while back here on December 20th, you had a tweet to remember to support our OG Polygon builders. And it was the Matic Man. He was launching his NFT project, the Legion Villains. And that was a live mint on Magic Eden. And you mentioned a couple of other project names and individuals in the space. What is it about that energy that you're trying to accomplish? Is it the NFT that you see that everyone needs that NFT in their wallet? Is there something more going on? What is it that you're achieving when you do that?
I love that people are out there creating new art, new communities, and all of that. So like, yeah, it's definitely the NFT, but at the core of it, um, the reason I make these kind of posts is because I've been here since the beginning, and I've seen those people that really care about the ecosystem, about new people to the ecosystem that are hard builders. They really they never stop. They're always there, and those are the kind of like people and that energy that I want to support. Because sometimes people come and they just want to take advantage of the Polygon spirit, and so when I see people that have been building for a while, and Matic Man's a good example. Bunch of Gotchi brothers that are doing all kinds of things. Like you guys have this show. You have No Futuristic, who is attempting to do a bunch of different things there. Um, and then you got guys like um, Randolph, who's doing spaces all the time and involvement in different NFT communities as well. So I just love seeing these people that have the same type of energy as I do, and love for this space, and truly care about helping people. And so when I say OG, it's probably a lot more than that. It's not just that he's been around for a long time, or any of these individuals. It's that they have the same passion as me,
They
and they've
endure the
also
same.
they've endured the same. They've been through the same things as well. True. It's so much more. I think OG is like an oversimplification of what I truly mean. Because I guess some people may have been here for a long time, and you might not want to support them, but there's if the people that I do look to support, there's all of what I've been saying here. They're just real good people to support, and they're going to do good things with whatever success they have.
Time is one thing in the space, but passion is a whole nother metric. And I think you do a great job of counting out that metric. I do have Legion villains in my wallet. I do pay attention to these things when you talk about them. And it's fun for me and Smokescreens here because we get to hit you with one right now. So we've been trying to figure out what we wanted to do because we're tired of only watching, right? We want to figure out how to become more involved. And so we have been spending all this time on ZKVM since launch day, and we just continue to feel like it's not moving at the pace we wish it would, quite honestly. And I feel like DeFi is about to get unleashed. We're going to watch some cool things happening, but the NFT space is lacking. And so Smoke and I actually have been curating artists in the Avagachi community, and we finally picked a lead artist. His name is Kravich, and we've launched a project with him. It's called The Little Frens. I'll shoot you some links after this. And the concept of this is it's essentially just good pixel art on the ZKVM blockchain. But if you hold one of these, it gets you into our Discord server where we can put you on the whitelist for renting Aavegotchis, exploring the Gotchiverse, exploring the entire Polygon POS flagship, and hopefully soon the Gotchi chain. And so it was a way for us to create, because we're not super coders, we're not developers, we're not Solidity pros, but we recognize society, we recognize what's happening out here. And so, how do we tie together some of our favorite things? And we started minting yesterday and already had one Gotchi gang say, I want one, but I don't have any idea what to do on ZKVM or how to get there. And
Oh wow.
it said that's exactly the point. You can do this, friend. Make it happen. And
Yeah.
they now have it in their wallet. And so we want to create this cross reference where we can see ZKVM curious people go, wait, this looks really fun. What is this? And say there's a whole rabbit hole of Aavegotchi behind this. Or for at least Gotchi Gang to say, hey, you're born on Polygon. You should probably pay attention to what Polygon's doing. Are you aware of where our frontiers lie?
Hmm. I love it. Yeah, I can't wait to see the links so I can go buy some.
Good news is the pixel art. You're gonna love it. I can already tell if you've got Game Boy nostalgia, if that's where your heart is, you're gonna love Travich's work. And that's kind of the point for us to find the best talent in our systems and just amplify it. Right? We've got to keep building on top of the blocks that are already here.
Is it yeah? Is it a like a 10K collection or what?
No, it's actually super micro. We're running this like get from the bottom up. We're doing this with 420 pieces on the first series. 0.00333 ETH, 420 in the collection. We love the numerology of the space.
420?
Yeah, yeah. So it's just a small micro, and it's just to kind of do some proof of concept and get this artist amplified. And we'll move on as the thing grows because we don't want to oversell it. And we've seen so many projects launch and die because all they're trying to get you to do is mint once, and that's the end of it. And so we're trying to do this in reverse and give our holders some actual
utility.
yeah, some actual
Yeah.
value for holding the stinking thing. At the very least, what we can offer is some community and fellowship.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I think it's cool too because I know there are NFTs on ZKVM, but
It's rough, man. It's rough.
they're rare.
There's a lots out there, but there's a lot of just AI, just shipping mints and just a lot of kind of clutter. There's a lot of people who are recognizing the frontier for what it is, but they're not bringing value from elsewhere. They're just
You
trying
guys
to.
are trailblazing.
We're sure trying to, man. We feel like we are because we're trying to reference value that's true, right? And that's the beauty of things like Aavegotchi and Polygon is it's not us that's offering it.
It's funny how you say it's rough, and I think what he means is we're paying like $8 for a gas transaction in CKAVM right now, $6-7, and being Polygon natives, for us it's hard, it's like Polygon set the bar high, and yeah, that was going to be a question. What do you think about that? About the gas fees in CKAVM? Is that going to level down? Should we expect to see lower fees than Polygon in CKAVM eventually?
Oh, for sure. So there's some things I know that I'm so worried about how to answer this properly because I don't actually know what's known and what's not known here. But I can definitely tell you that there is that they should be coming down, and there's a very large upgrade coming in the future, short term, and there's also I guess a lot of the CDK chains that are building, they also have the option of using Celestia for the data availability. And yeah, and that's a really cool integration. I believe it's supposed to bring the cost on ZKVM down by 100x. Now, I don't think that's actually deploying on ZKVM because of like the Ethereum layer 2 kind of debate and kind of conversation that's happening there. I think, they're trying to keep it all totally aligned with Ethereum. But I do believe there's a really large upgrade that's coming in the very short term that's going to be cutting those costs down dramatically. And obviously, just as the way it works, naturally is that the more adoption it gets and the more users that are there, it's supposed to just the fees are supposed to go down. So like you guys are just mentioning DeFi Unleashed. That's also coming. Technically, well, it's actually alive. There's stage 2 right now, and that's like a bunch of deployments. Then there's stage 3 with a massive upgrade that's coming. And so I imagine with all the deployments and the activity and some of the things from a marketing perspective and rewards and maybe even airdrops and things that certain teams are building for ZKVM, I think it's going to bring a lot of excitement, traction, and there's probably going to be a lot more users. So all of that is going to bring probably the price of transactions down. Additionally, there's an upgrade. So yeah, 100%. I think over time, it's going to go down. And then it's really just about, can the Polygon team carry that momentum and continue that traction? Because if more people continue to onboard, that price just naturally for transactions goes down.
All right, little Frens is helping the cause. Yes.
Yeah, every user makes a difference on these ecosystems, and if you understand that, you understand
That's really cool.
you have to endure. You have to stick it out. Resilience is rewarded on these chains, and once we onboard and scale, it's going to be a cornucopia of fun.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap this, Aztec, because we're close to the hour, and I don't want to take any more of your time because I appreciate you being here with us today at all, and I'm hoping that we can get you back on here for some future episodes of the Gotchi Brothers. If somebody, if I clip this and someone just listens to this last section right here, what are things that you wish people hear from you today? It could be anything you want. It can be projects that are coming. It can be security metrics. It can be anything on your mind that you want to just share with people. What are the things that are Aztec's war call here in January 2024?
I guess if there's something I could leave you guys' audience with is to not give up. I think there's I think many people that have been here for a long time have had a lot of successes, but they also everyone has a lot of failures. And I would say don't give up on the failures and don't let those things bring you down. People lose a lot of money, but then there's always these opportunities that are right around the corner that can truly change your life. And overall, this space is it's revolutionizing the world, and this is where technology is going. I believe blockchain is going to play a vital role in many parts of life, and we're building our own categories. So it's really important in my eyes to continue and never give up. Don't let the fear of everything going around the world or kind of like push you out of this kind of like partly of financial movement. And just keep going, because I think a lot of the success that we've seen in this space, there has been some massive success. Bitcoin is a massive success. Ethereum is a massive success. Polygon has done amazing things, but like we're just getting started in my eyes. I mean, I look at some of the new categories coming online, like DePIN, and I see how those new technologies that are coming are going to further decentralize the world and give people more opportunity. And there's the DeSci space, there's the gaming side of things, what Gotchi's doing, and Immutable, and all that adoption that's going to be flowing in. I mean, the institutional side of it, whether you like it or not, it's going to bring a lot of money in as well. And then people are really going to hone in on these UI, UX kind of issues. And so we're so early, and there's so much opportunity. So don't give up and continue staying involved. That's what I would say to everyone.
Bravo, bro. Aztec, you're a legend, man. You're a true inspiration. Love your YouTube content. Almost 4,000 followers in there. A lot of the stories there inspire. I was watching the one about Cosmo and how you endure. And it's pretty cool, man. Once again, keep up the good work. You are a true inspiration to us, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me, and allowing me to be here, guys. Appreciate the conversation. It's fun talking with you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do hope to get you back on again for future episodes here. Let's wake up this Southwest US DeFi representation. Let's bring those Polygon guilds to life. Thank you so much, Aztec. Way to kick off the year. Way to lead from the front. Just keep making the calls, and we'll keep being here to back you up, man.
Sounds good. I'll be an ally of your guys as well. So let me know what you guys need.
All right. Have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you, Aztec.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Take care, boss.